Welcome to Wrath Blood. It's going to be regular Wrath Blood. There's like really two types of Wrath Blood that's pretty popular right now. There's the regular one, then there is also the aggro version that runs some Vengeance package cards, but I will be playing the regular one because I just prefer the regular one more. So this is the list I'm running. Of course, with the mini we get Rouge and Verte, which I mean they are pretty solid cards, but they aren't that strong, and more importantly they're breaks in the early game, which is why I'm only playing 2 copies of them. And I think generally people only play 2 copies of them. Gyaradev is also better at 2 because you don't really need a 3rd copy, and Enchanting Rhapsody is not as consistently in OTK as it used to be, so you only run 2 copies now. And then Temperatures of the Cups is just some pretty useful healing in the mid game. So yeah, this is the list I'm running, and let's just jump into some games. So for our first game, we will be against Sword, and we are going first this game. Of course, against Sword, we like to assume we are going against Loot. For the early game, when going first, I like keeping the Wrath cards they can also draw. So stuff like Harmonic Wolf, the Conductor, and of course, the How to Train Your Bat. Just, you know, cause your early game is a bit more aggressive, you may run out of hand cards sometimes, which is not very good. So here they play the Thief, so we know this is going to be loot, and we just play the Snipe here just to deny them the loot and slow down their win condition as possible. Our ideal goal against loot is always to win the game on turn 7 before they can get their combo off, because it's a bit dangerous for us to let them get the combo off, because well, we are Wrath, our deck plays off self damage, so we can't always keep ourselves super healthy against them. Here I'm just going for Raging Commander plus the Flautist here just to clear the board. There is an argument to be made for going with the Drummer here just to stall a bit, but I think this play would be better because it gives us board pressure, which you will see becomes important next turn. So here comes Rogers. Very standard for loot. They usually have Rogers. If they don't have Rogers, the game's much easier, of course, but here it's good to have Rogers. And you can see, thanks to us leaving a more impactful board earlier, they had to spend their turn clearing it, which means that we have time to play Enchanting Rhapsody here. Enchanting Rhapsody, of course, always a great card to play when you can afford to. Just make sure you can actually afford to when you don't die doing it. You can see here we are at 5 self-pings, which means we're not in Wrath yet. But that doesn't mean Devilish Diva won't be useful, which is why we can still pick it up here, and we can set for OTK on turn 7. Especially when we have Yor and you have Gyaradev, usually that's an OTK setup for turn 7. Devilish Diva plus Yor plus Gyaradev is of course a 20 damage OTK, assuming you can get there. So we've activated Wrath and we put up this board, and it should prevent us from getting killed here. Important to note here, of course, Steamrolling Tank is a 0-2 ward, which means that if they want to clear it and the stuff behind the ward, like this Raging Commander, they will have to get through the ward, which means they will have to leave the follower alive because nothing can trade evenly with the Steamrolling Tank, which means that they will leave a follower on board, which what I'm trying to say is that there will always be a target for Devilish Diva to finish the game this turn. So here comes the Devilish Diva. Ping myself 3 times and deal 3 damage to them. And then Gyaradev here is another 11 damage. And then Yor can come in to provide 6 damage for a complete 20 damage OTK, assuming no damage shields or anything like that. So yeah, it's pretty standard Wrath game here. This is the goal when you're playing against Loot Sword. Let's move on to the next game. So our next game will be against Dragon, of course. We're going first again because we're good, I guess. I don't know. So against Dragon, there's 2 major decks to be on the lookout for, and there's this card and there's Buff. Most likely, I think it's probably Buff. Here I just keep the early game card draw. Howling Scream is okay to keep against Dragon, I think, just because their early game is not super. Well, that's not true if it's Buff, but Howling Scream isn't gonna really do much against Buff, I'm being honest, so yeah. Temperatures of the Cup is very nice for the enhanced forward play when going first. For going second, it's not as strong. Generally, you want to be doing something more useful with your Evo, I think. But yeah, we are going second, so it's fine. And then here we just push base damage. No reason to trade the commander here. If you can keep... Of course, trading commander off will help you get towards your Wrath condition and will draw you more cards, but if you can keep commander on the field for later in the game, it might present an opportunity to set up a turn 6 Gyarados, so you should always keep that in mind. So here we have enough board space, so we just play the Tentacles of the Cup for Enhance and then just push face. A very nice board we have going on here. I imagine though if it's buffed they aren't that troubled by it. It really depends on what they have in their hands, so let's just see what they do here. They have Kyrie, which is not bad for them, and here comes Asuka and Shiori, which while does heal them, which is annoying. It at least doesn't really answer the board. So Conductor is alive here, which means that I could set up for a turn 6 Gyarados next time. Unfortunately, I don't quite have Gyarados in my hand, so it will be a bit of a sort of RNG game. So that's the Asuka and Shiori to heal up, and then they pull out another Asuka and Shiori to heal. So while they're not doing anything super scary, they are healing a huge ton, which is not very ideal for us either. They left the Conductor alive here, which means that they trade here. So they actually went and set up the thing for us. So hopefully we can find Gyarados here. I definitely considered between Gyarados and Rouge Verte here, but I think Gyarados is... No, actually I think Rouge Verte, in hindsight I think Rouge Verte would have been the correct play here, but I went for Gyarados just to make use of the extra ping I had. But Rouge Verte probably was correct play. Rouge Verte are of course very valuable against Buff Dragon in particular because it helps you answer their really big followers. So the argument for keeping Rouge Verte here is for answering big followers. So the problem with Buff Dragon on the ladder is that the ladder players really like running Drazak in their Buff Dragon. It's not very common in tournament lists, but it's so annoying for us to deal with because a lot of our removal is linked to destruction like Yor, and we have Rouge and Verte, which don't work against Drazael here. So what I'm trying to do here is just to set a ward in the way and heal up, so hopefully I can weather the Drazael out and just sort of hope the hand is not very good. So this brings me to something that I feel like is true of Wrath in its current state, is that it's a bit lacking in power. So it's in a state where you have a lot of these games where they end up very long, they end up running for very long and very messily, and it becomes a game of like who draws their superpower cards first. Here, I'm just need auto fuse. I really need to get the damage shield because I can't afford to be dead reading myself or I will die to Joe, and there I played in the wrong order by the way. Of course, just have to play Rouge and Verde before Harmonic Wolf here just to get that one more healing of it, but I guess it's fine. So here I put the Draz out at 2 so that Rouge and Verde can just trade naturally into it and clear it without even having to use the Bane, which allows her to clear the entire board for me. So I managed to heal out quite a bit here and ping them a bit of damage, so hopefully that will be enough to bring me towards lethal. Importantly right now, no Evo points, so trying to get the Gyarados is a bit of a chore. And although fortunately for me, it looks like they don't have that good cards either. There comes the Dragonborn Striker. So I think playing the commander there first would have been probably a cleaner play, but I drew Gyarados anyway, so ends up being lethal. But yeah, I think commander would have been the better play there anyway. The point is that sometimes, a lot of the times actually, Wrath can Wrath games get a little bit messy, which is something I don't like that much about the deck, but I mean, it's still a pretty strong deck, so yeah. Let's move on to the next game. So our next game will be the Blood Mirror. Apparently we're going first again. I feel that I feel like I have a lot of games going first recently, but oh well. Of course we just keep our draw cards in the early game. In the mirror we are the going first person is of course very heavily favored just by virtue of entering Rouge first. But generally, I feel like in the mirror, luck is a very heavily deciding factor, more than other matchups, just because the power balance between this deck on the high roll and this deck on a mid to low roll is just very big, which is what results in very messy long games if neither player draws well, as you saw previously in the Buff Dragon game. So here we are playing the Rouge mirror. Of course our goal is just to get into Rouge as fast as possible, and we just draw value cards here. So they're also just trying to draw their value cards, so we're just both sort of messing around, just slowly crawling along. This turn was a bit difficult, I feel. I'm not sure if I made the correct play here, but I just wanted to set up the commander behind the wall, and hopefully that causes some problems for them. Also, I have a lot of commanders in hand. I really don't need that many, so unfortunately no room for us the Enchanting Rhapsody here, which I would have really liked to do. So we're just gonna use the commander to clear this board. Bit of a weird order here, but I'm prioritizing having the evil point over saving the health, which is why I evolve before I play the How to Train Your Wolf here. How to Train a Wolf is of course very powerful effect if you can actually get into play, which you might not always be able to do. In this case I do. So my hope here is of course that they go wide for me to just get Rouge Verte and play for a good value, but unfortunately they just go for Diablo's Hedone here. And we take a lot of damage here. I'm a bit worried that I'll die next turn actually here. So I go for a more emergency oriented play, and hopefully I can survive the turn. And unfortunately they do have Rouge and Verte, which is like probably the worst possible case scenario for us here. It basically nullifies all of our healing from the drummers, which we really wanted. But I guess what can you do, right? So you can see Rouge is a lot like a battle between two wet noodles who have like a reasonable amount of healing and damage, but not enough of either to push the game in favor in one way. Here I'm just trying to heal up and just find a way to set up a lethal, hopefully with Gyaradev and Raging Commander. So that's their How to Train Your Wolf. And then they have the drummer as well. And then of course they're gonna try our Howling Demon. So now I believe it's our turn to go for Rouge and Verte. I don't believe I had any way to get lethal this turn. I might be wrong. And here I'm just getting the Temptress down to heal a little bit more, just to make sure that I don't die to any weird lethals here. You can see games with Rouge get very messy very quickly if you don't have a very smooth lethal curve, which we don't here. So here we know that we are safe from being killed by Gyaradev, so I'm not too worried. There's the Gyaradev. Unfortunately being at 15, well, they are in lethal range. I believe Raging Commander into Gyaradev plus like Howling Scream would have also been lethal, but since I drew Yor, I'm just gonna use Yor instead. Just, you know, for the style points, I guess. yeah, very messy Wrath game, but just play around your opponent's damage, make sure you heal out of range of it until you can find a way to get your own lethal is the game plan for Wrath here, I guess. So that's it for the games I have for you today with Rouge Blood. I hope it was interesting. Maybe if you are interested in trying the deck, give it a try. I personally don't like it that much. I wouldn't recommend it too strongly, but if you want to be playing Blood and you like Wrath, go for it. I'm not that big into the Wrath playstyle personally, but I really wanted to use the 3 copies of Yor that I had and just like flex them, I guess. So yeah, here we are. Overall the deck is definitely, I mean, it's decent. I would say it's pretty mid right now. I just don't like that it's a bit reliant on it. Either you draw well and you completely crush your opponent's face in, or you have to sort of play this very slow, sluggish game of just trying to heal until you have a lethal to kill your opponent with. It's a very uncomfortable and stressful way of playing, in my opinion. Of course, if that's fun for you, then feel free to pick the deck up. Crosscraft starts tomorrow, so this is probably going to be my last like regular rotation video. Honestly, I'm not that big on rotation right now anyway, so I was actually looking forward to Crosscraft. I was hoping it would come, so, and here it is. So yeah, I will try to I'm not sure if I can stream tomorrow for Crosscraft, but I will try to get some videos out and showcase some weird and cool decks. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.